Well, hello, this is Rochelle and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a mixed media tag. If you have been on my channel at all this week, you'll see that this has kind of been the trend, and today I'm using my FabScraps shore break kit for them, or collection, for the month of November, and I'm going to make a mixed media tag. Firstly, what I did is I took some of the Creative Talents gesso, and I'm putting that front and back of on the tag, and also on the front of the image that I want to transfer. After that, I take some water and little by little kind of wet from the top to the bottom this tag where I want this image transferred. Could I have done it directly onto the image? Whatever I'm going to do next, yes, I absolutely could have. I just really enjoyed, since I learned this technique of transferring from Tia, who is Tia Kamer. If you haven't checked her out, go check her out. And really enjoyed this technique of transferring. So you then kind of fray the paper all the way until it's off, or the backing all the way until it's off, and then you will have to apply another coat of this primer or this gesso over it. I did, obviously the tag is just slightly smaller, so the card element is just slightly smaller, so I am going to put a little faux washi strip or border strip from the pattern paper onto this mixed media tag also. And first just applying that primer and letting it dry. It dries pretty quickly. I'm actually quite impressed. Another proudly South African local product, which I really like, which, as you know, FabScraps is as well a proudly South African local product. And so I'm just sticking down, applying some FabScraps white glue, craft glue, and then smearing that out with a card so that it's evenly spread and covering that whole piece. And then once that is done, I'm just going to cut away at the back or the tag so that it fits perfectly. But before I do that, I'm letting the glue dry first, so I'm going to get my sentiment ready. Obviously with the transfer, the sentiment is now wrong way around, so unless you can read back to front, that's great. So I want to use the sentiment on this little, another one of the journaling cards, which speaks of life's like the ocean, and then saying that, you know, it goes back and forth, and once you get the hang of it, you can ride the waves. That's my paraphrasing. I've learned this little trick from a lady by the name of Delian. She scribbles, when she has words to cut out, she scribbles loosely around them about twice, and then cuts around the scribbles, and then you don't have to have that fuss of trying to cut around words, and it's always looking skew and forever looking unfinished. So she does this with a black journaling pen, or in this case I used white, just because the white would stand out a bit more on this darker paper. So once that is done, I'm sticking down the center over the words on this, or the back to front words on this strip, and then I'm going to just punch that hole back in. You'll see that I'm doing it on the back of a card that I've already done for this week. Grabbing some foam tape, because I want to kind of put those major sentiments, or the theme sentiments, the keywords, the key title, I want to push that up a bit. So I'm just using some normal Crazy Crafts fun foam and cutting that into strips. If you don't have foam tape, this is a great alternative. If you do have foam tape, don't put yourself through all the issues, just use the foam tape. And I'm just pushing that up on to the foam tape, and then using the Crazy Craft glue, the FabScraps white craft glue, to adhere that. I should have done this part before, but I only realized afterwards that I wanted to, and so I'm using some distress crackle paste by Ranger, and I'm applying that through my waves stencil in some places. This dries kind of semi-transparent, and so it does add a bit of a extra dimension to this card, and it will crackle once it's dry. So I'm just using a paint card and applying it with a little spoon onto the edge of the paint card, and then smearing it through the stencil onto the 3 edges of this page where I do not have the sentiments already. And then I'm taking 3 little kind of elements from the fussy cutting sheets. I'm so sorry, my words are not coming to me, to add to this page. But before I do that, with crackle paste, you do need to apply like a medium over it, just so that the crackle doesn't crackle right off your little tag or page or project or whatever you're using. So I'm just taking some Tim Holtz collage medium or Ranger collage medium, and applying that with a brush straight over the crackled stencil pieces. Adding that FabScraps white craft glue to the back of these little elements that I want to stick on over top these pages or places. I'm using a dolphin and a seahorse and a little jellyfish, and I really so enjoyed this whole process, playing and doing the transfer. In the end, you can see so little of the transfer left, but it was such fun, and I would absolutely do it again. Next up, it's time to add some bling. I do want to give you a little tip that I learned from a lady by the name of Yavilna. She is also local and proudly so. When you pick up your bling, use a crayon, any crayon, and the bling magically kind of sits onto the crayon, and you can put your glue dot or your dot of collage medium in this instance onto your page or project, and then pick up these blings with this crayon. It sticks to it and it just works perfectly. So there's that. I'm kind of aware of the fact that I need to stick to kind of 3 clusters for the sake of letting your eye flow, and some accent pieces and the rule of thirds and whatever else. But in the end, just really enjoying the process and having fun with it. I don't know if there's ever enough, or if there's ever a place where you need to kind of gear down and not put more bling. I like these little pearl dots, or I think 1 or 2 of them are a crystal dot. It's just really pretty. So there you go, collage medium, any color or kind of crayon. Pick up your little elements and put it down. As with all my projects, kind of date stamp it, and that then is that. Really enjoyed playing with these tags this week. It might become a recurring theme over the next few weeks. I did just use a Derwent Inktense pencil to kind of outline some of the elements as well as the tag, and that's that. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.